17. I thought that had changed a little bit.
They had to be a senior in high school.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I
that's
think
what it
that
was.
it said that must be a senior in high school during at least part of his or her term. So you could get potentially a second semester junior that would be a senior before his or her term expired. Is that a correct reading?
Yes.
Okay. So those were the changes to the ordinance. The most important one there was that Angela is a full voting member. So that's awesome.
I have a recommendation for the youth liaison. I apologize if I was supposed to send that. I
Okay.
probably dropped the ball on that, so I'll get that out tomorrow.
No, that's okay. If you could get that to
Yep.
to Chief Curtis, then he can forward it to me, and I'll get it to everyone else. So.
I wonder, may I ask, I wonder if it would be good to have a youth liaison from the university, since we're struggling so much to have, it's been 2 years and we have not had a youth liaison from that high school level. And I didn't know if they would provide what we're looking for if we expanded it to that level. Just something I wondered.
Would that be something that the city council could possibly discuss, Jerry?
Well, I know what they discussed, the fact that this would open it up also to private schools. And so you can have any student in Webster Groves who's at a private school too. So, maybe you'll have some interest from someone from Narings Hall but we did not talk about university students. I think it says, I'd have to go back and reread that. Let's see what we can do to get someone from a high school now.
Yeah, it specifically says the youth liaison must be at least 17 years old, reside within the boundaries of Webster Groves, and be a senior in high school during at least part of his or her term.
So you could get a freshman. Yeah.
So,
let's see what we can do to get a high school student. And if that doesn't happen, then we'll see if we can get someone from the university.
Yeah, actually it could only be a junior because the youth liaison shall serve for a term of 1 year and may not be reappointed. So it really could only be a junior.
Not really, could be a senior.
Well, it could be a senior. Yeah, could be a senior. But in the past, it could only be a senior.
Mm-hmm.
So this opened it up to a few more individuals. The next item, any comments or questions about that? I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that ordinance had been approved and passed. The update of the contacts with the community group leaders and the potential engagement timeline. I know we've been anxious to do this. And I reached out several times with Jerry Kettenbach of the Webster Groves Rotary. And I haven't received an official confirmation back, but we are scheduled to do a presentation on either December 4th or December 11th. So it's either Friday, December 4th or Friday, December 11th. I requested that we do it on the 4th because as you draw closer to the holidays, there might be fewer participants at the meeting potentially. And I haven't heard back from Jerry to actually firm that up. In that instance, we would need to get our survey out to the membership of the Rotary Club, probably the week of Thanksgiving. And then it could be returned that Monday, December 1st, or I don't have my calendar right here handy. Anyway, that it could be returned as late as that Monday or even Tuesday if we go with the Google form survey, because that could be tallied very quickly. So anyway, that's my update. Scott, I know you had been in contact with Webster University.
Yeah, I spoke with Jennifer Starkey and Vince Llewellyn, and thanks to the chief I got the email contact with Mr. Gerger. The timeline going forward right now is they are gathering together a group of faculty members that they, including those people I mentioned, but a small group to have a Zoom meeting with me was the thought. If others want to join, that's fine, just to plan what kind of event would be most appropriate, because the thought was that having significant student involvement would be the most important. Given COVID issues and timing of many things around schools and the like, the thought would be that we'd have everything planned, but have the actual session with the students early at the very beginning of the next calendar year as they come back for their next semester. So that's what we were looking at. I was hoping to get the survey to those faculty members as soon as maybe tomorrow, depending on what the thoughts are, as well as releasing the slides to them as well. And then I'm sure we're going to get into that issue a little bit more. So that's where we are, again, looking at a meeting with the faculty in just a few weeks, definitely before Thanksgiving, and then really getting the planning together for early in the year.
Okay. Katie, I know you were going to reach back out to the Alliance.
So I was going to say, well, I didn't really reach back out to the Alliance. So I need to get back in touch with Farrell about the November 19th is to the best of my knowledge, that is their next meeting. And I don't know if they have an agenda already, but I can do that tonight or tomorrow morning and find out. And if we can be part of that agenda on the 19th, I think we would be ready to do that.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I would not be able to do the 19th because I will be in Wichita. So.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be there the whole week. I leave
Okay.
Sunday and I don't get back until late Friday night. So.
And Jennifer, who I spoke with, is also on the Alliance, by the way. So we had a brief discussion about that.
Oh, I have a breaking news from my cell phone, which is we are on the agenda. Sorry, I think Farrell's observing.
Yeah.
So we're on the Alliance agenda for that night.
Well, that's a shame because I wanted to come this time, but I can't. I have to be in Wichita, so that week. And then Angela, you were going to reach back out to, I think, the North Webster Coalition.
Right. I did not reach back out to them. They're waiting on the survey. So as soon as I, get the okay on that, that was our conversation that I would follow up.
Yeah, let's kind of talk a little bit more about that when we get to the survey to make sure that it's going to be in a format that we can reach as many people as possible. So, anyone? Am I missing anyone? Chief Curtis, I know, met with a restaurateur in Webster, and I have not been able to reach back out to him. So I will do that. It was at Mike at. It
was Mark Hinkle. Actually,
at Olive Oaks. Yeah.
Fred and I are meeting again with. He has a. I'm not quite sure how many people there are, but he has a equity group, diversity and equity group among the restaurateurs. I'm not sure if they're all Webster or not, but anyhow, he asked for if we would attend that meeting. So Fred and I are going to be there tomorrow. If you like, I can ask him or have him contact you again if you want.
Yeah, no, I've got his contact information, and I will reach out to him. I was in meetings all day today, so and it's been that way the last 2.5, 3 weeks. So, but yeah, I will try to reach out to Mark. So,
has anyone reached out to any of the Old Webster Trade Association? That's a wonderful group that would be a good one for the survey.
Yes, I actually talked with some of the members about this. It was kind of a unanimous answer that in retail and restaurants right now, nobody could really focus on anything or get anything until after the first of the year. So I don't think that we'd have a lot of participation if we tried to do it before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year, yeah, it's a tough time.
But after, you know, the first thing, I think people are more apt to fill out surveys, and that, you know, that I just don't think people will get to right
now. Okay. The community group presentation materials. You guys did a great job in putting these together. If Scott, if you could send me just the PowerPoint itself, so I can take out like Webster University students. I got a PDF of it, so I can't make any modifications to it. But like, for instance, the second page says review survey results with Webster University students. Of course, I would want to change that to whatever group I was presenting to, or we were presenting to.
Or I was specific in my looking at it, but definitely to the group we're talking about, and we'll change that out.
Did everyone have a chance? Did everyone have a chance to review that document? Those that weren't part of that subcommittee?
I wanted to highlight a couple things. We put a hyphen there, police community, to make sure it didn't look like we were a branch of the police department. Was the thought process on putting a hyphen, that we are a liaison group. It's police hyphen community. We thought that would be important to have that separated, that we are a liaison group that's going to engage with the community groups and then come back and talk to the police, that we are not a branch of the police department or answer to them or any of that nature. So that was the thought process of that hyphen there. Orange and black was changed as the color for Webster reasons, but and then the resident, putting residents in, you know, some people are listed as being a resident, but also there's other people with other roles that are also residents. So that's why that was put on there. And I don't know if there's other corrections that needed to happen if anybody looked at it. I know Katie and I are both excited to really push this out quickly. It doesn't have to be a perfect slideshow. It doesn't have to have lasers and all that. We just want to get ourselves in front of the groups and have something to start the engagement going. So that was that's why it's not all that phenomenal. And the other big point is the feedback. We expect to do a lot of listening.
Right.
And how are we going to get, get all that information, condense it, present it, and where should it be placed? And how can we then put it in a place where we can respond back to it and then go back to the groups that we're interested in talking to and give them the follow-up, because that's what they want most. What are we doing? And another question was also just how much of this information disparity data, I know it's going to be very much requested, I can tell already in talking to the Webster University folks, how much is that shareable? And also whether resident versus non-resident, this occurred to me today, whether resident versus non-resident, does that include university students? Are they considered residents?
Depends on how they complete the census. If they completed the census while they were in residence at Webster University and said they were, then that's how they would show up. But if my guess is probably most of them didn't, but I don't know that, just my intuition. So probably not, but it depends on how they fill out the census, either the 2010 or this one.
Yeah, they didn't know if that represented a potential skew on that as well. You had all those breakdowns, resident versus non-resident.
And that's another item that you don't get, from the report. For instance, Clayton, the jail population counts in their population, so that you're going to get a skewed data there in terms of their disparity report, because you've got 400 or 500 people that are in the facility that aren't actually residents, but they count as residents for there. So as far as the data itself goes, Doctor, it's all, it's public information. You get the AG report online. I just tried to update it year to dates just so that we didn't get too far behind. And because I know it's been a topic when I talked to Mark at Alvin Oak, that was one of his big concerns. So I wanted to gather to see where we are compared to where we were this time last year. And I think we've made significant inroads into that. And, you know, we won't know for sure until January when the final figures are in, but the report itself won't be out until probably June 1st, I think is when it comes out. But the information that I gathered and put together, you're welcome to include that on the other reports so that you can see where we are as compared to where we were.
Any thoughts on Scott's question about how we're going to handle any recommendations that come out of these meetings?
Well, I think you just have to bring them back to the board. There's not any way that you can just handle them right there. All you can say to people is that we're an advisory board. We'll take your recommendation and discuss it at the board. I mean, you just can't do anything with it right there and then.
With there, my concern is a lot of times, I don't know about the rest of you, it might take me a few hours and something will sink in a little bit later and I'll have that ultimate question I would love to send out. Or maybe I'm shy and I don't want to raise my hand or do something. And I wondered if there's a way to then collect that. Because I think sometimes those are the best questions that have been reflected upon.
Yeah, and that's on the last slide on page 9. It says, please send feedback to, but what email do they send it to?
Yeah.
That's what I was just going to ask. Do we have an email address? Does our organization have one to be able to receive?
You're looking at him.
Right. So yeah, that was my, yeah.
So this is my question.
So the feedback.
Brought it up immensely as well, I know, in our meeting. So.
Well, that's something we'll have to figure out.
Could you create a info@PCE board, you know, not dummy, but, you know, email address that can be accessed by all of us with the same password, just so we can see what's going on in there. And then that's when we can, when we come back again, we can go over the things that have, you know, the questions or the feedback that's come in on that email address.
And that's a good question also for Jen Conrad, who really understands all these email addresses and who gets what and what's legal and what's not legal, because we always have the sunshine law. We always have to be careful about that. So we should ask Jen about that tomorrow. But I agree, we need to find something there that works for folks.
The other issue would be, I mean, I would offer, and I think it's a good idea to have something through a city portal that everybody, the board could access. Yes. People could send through. The catch may be, we have a license, an email license in GroupWise, and I know that we weren't able to get any more addresses because we have run out of portals for addresses. So I don't know if IT is would be able to create another one or not. But again, that's a question that Steve Bader and Jennifer can answer.
Figure out for us. Mm-hmm.
And I would think it would be a one-way email with no expected response through that email. It would be, we receive information here and then we take that to them in person.
Yeah, that would be a no reply email. I mean, they couldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's add that to the November meeting agenda. Maybe we can get an answer from the IT.
Yeah, we could just get that done. I mean, and put it on here. We'll figure it out. I don't think it needs to come back for discussion.
I don't think it needs to be discussed, but I think the answer needs to be revealed. I mean.
Oh, well, we'll put it on here. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need to discuss it anymore, but I think I'd like to know the conclusion of what's happened. The Google Form survey.
Hey, can I make one more suggestion?
Sure.
On the PowerPoint, people don't read a lot anymore. They just don't. And so under the board charge and the board member qualifications, if we could edit that down a little bit and make some of these things pop, I think it would be better for us. And I'm happy to take a look at that. But you know, we can eliminate some of the verbiage so the people can see, for example, that you have a business owner on the board, you have a representative from the school district. Instead of all of those extra words in there, you have a physician on there, the diversity. So you get those few key words out there, and that's what people stick in their head.
Yeah, what page are you referring to?
I'm referring to the PowerPoint. 1, 2, 3, pages 4 and 5.
Oh, okay.
Well, the other thought,
so I'm happy to do that. I just think
okay.
Maybe having the intent, a one-word discussion of the intent is another thought. Like, why is a doctor on there, or why is a business? It's just a thought. But again, I would hope we just get it out.
Yeah, I agree. But you're right, you know, Scott, because you could just say that the purpose of the ordinance was to get a well-rounded group in the community, and it consists of
of all of these.
Of all of these. Yeah, of all of these assorted folk.
Okay. The Google Form survey, and then the possible distribution of the survey.
I'll just share the screen. I'll go into it as in editing mode. I hope I can. Can you see that? Is that visible to you? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm in the response, but let me go over to the questions, because I did have a couple questions with this one. So the demographic information is kind of set up here where people can easily populate it with the date and the month, year, how they identify. There was one part, the age group. I just noticed this when I was filling it out. We want to take 20 and up off and just make it 21 to 40, 41 to 60. I mean, or you want me to put another
20 and up?
20. I started on 20 and up, and then I realized I was really here.
20 and below, right?
20 and below.
20 and below.
Capture high school students.
So what are your recommendations for that?
I can't remember what, I don't have it with me, what the original wording was. That doesn't sound right.
Well, it seems like we have to have 20 and below because high school students may be taking
Yeah, I know.
Right. Yeah. This was the language that came with the copy, so.
It was a goof. It should be 20 and below.
It should be 20 and below.
20 and below.
20 and
Okay.
under.
20 and under.
Okay. 20 and under.
Yeah, the age group on my on the form center was 20 and under.
Okay.
So 20 and under, 21 to 40, 41 to 6. We were all, everyone that responded, which was us essentially, and my wife, I had her do it too. But everyone was 41 to 60 when we get to the results.
And then their ethnicity, gender, we did include non-binary, prefer not to answer. Completion of grade level. And some of these questions, the demographic information, you'll see this asterisk. I made it so that they had to fill that out or they couldn't continue. They couldn't opt out of those because I think it's important to understand who's filling it out. It really can give us a rich source of data. And then this is one that you can mark all that apply. I'll just kind of flow through these. This one, I think we need to discuss. Angela, you had a idea about taking out other people of color, but is it that I think, Scott, you had mentioned Black, Indigenous, and other people. Was that you or had mentioned that? So in the diversity field, the terms we're using now is Black or African American or Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. So I don't know if we want to go with that or just kind of keep it as is.
Well, and my point I brought up the last time, I think, was making sure that African American or Black are a separate, specifically addressed item, as opposed to lumping with just other people of color, as I think that was the issue before, because I think that is what is very much on our minds.
Okay.
I would think.
So you want to keep it like this, or?
I think I want the group to decide the best way to word it.
Are there any objections to sending it out like this?
I have none.
Okay. Let me know if
Doctors
you think
aren't things, so you know.
Here is a Likert scale question about traffic violations.
And Chief, is it safe place or is it safe space?
Kevin, I'll be honest with you. I had to go down and take a look at the sign.
I cannot remember. There's a fire station right across the street from me. I drove by it and I meant to look the last time I did that. And
I think safe place is correct, but I can't swear to it. Like I said, I actually had to go down and look at the sign on their door. I think it's safe place, but it could be safe space.
Okay.
Cindy, the
Yes.
one that is about the use of force, does it say, does it say like the prohibition of the use of force, or how is that one worded?
Well, let me see.
Yes, we added that. It's prohibited, not prohibition.
Yes.
Or is it at this one? Is it this one?
No, down.
Oh, no, wait.
Right, yeah, this one
Right
I
there.
am aware.
The prohibited use of chokeholds.
And including the prohibited use of, okay, I remembered we had talked about that last.
Yeah, I said including the prohibition of the use of, so Cindy kind of cleaned it up a little bit with, less wordiness, and that's where she just changed it to prohibited use of chokeholds. So
I think somebody recommended that. That doesn't sound like something.
Here's what I've just found. Looks like safe place refers to a place where you can do this sort of thing. And so place is the correct thing. Safe space refers to more of a safe mental place where you can go if you're being abused, or it has some pretty serious kind of connotations to it.
No, Jerry, I'm referring to the actual sign. That
I know, it's place. It's place.
Aaron just informed me it's safe place. So you're in good shape.
I am correct. Okay, perfect.
And then the long answer, I think it's 200 characters. I did have a question about this ending because it was on the document that was sent to me. There's this really long web page. There was no way for me to make a link. And I mean, Google Forms is great, but it doesn't have every single thing you want. So I don't know how you feel about having this very long and complex website as part of the ending of this. I just
understand your question. You know, when I saw that, I thought the same thing. And I saw someone earlier today. I don't know if you're familiar, people familiar with Bitly, where you can kind of shorten those links. I saw someone do it today for the first time. So I don't know if that's something we could do, because it does, you know, look a little cleaner, but like, I'm not sure how to do it, but I just.
Well, and it won't allow me to create a link like the way you can in Word or something like that.
Right.
And so it only will allow these characters to be in there.
And I'm assuming you can't highlight it and.
Don't even know if it's live. You know, I forgot to look when I was filling it out. I recommend, can I just say that is there a way to go to the webpage and communicate with someone? Or, I mean, if we can get that email address, that would be what would go in there. I think that would be the best thing.
I agree. Yeah, to be consistent.
Yeah, it's just, it's real clunky looking, just sitting like that.
I know on the left side of the PCEB landing page on the website, you can get to this survey there. So if we forced people to that page and gave them instructions here on how to get there, then they could go there and click on that link.
I don't know. I think if we can just put an email address in there, they can just go to their email and
if we can get a no reply where they can just send their comments in, I think that's the best option.
I mean, and any one of us I can put all of you on as collaborators, because Scott, if you want this tomorrow, if they can get that email, I keep putting you on the hot spot a little bit, but you know.
People are excited for us to get moving. I would like to share something. I liked the way this format was, that it was easy to use, it was quick to get through. But what I was most excited about, I would be happy to share with you, is after I filled out the one we were talking about, how are people treated differently, I thought about it later, that the intent when a police officer is stopping somebody initially is to treat them equally, but then the bias that they're unaware of or unaware of on both sides, that bias it would change how that could be answered depending on when in that stop you're basing your answer. And I think it's going to be a good discussion point. So I think
it's I shared that question in particular today with our school resource officer, and he was he pondered it a bit, because, you know, he says, well, that's interesting the way you asked that, you know, so he thought it was a good question.
Yeah, I thought it just, you know, at first, I know the intention is to be as equal as possible, but we're not aware there's that implicit bias that steeped in history of us growing up in this country, that's going to be present at that event of the stop, whether we know it or not, despite our intention. And that's what excites me about this question. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know if any of you had similar, but I thought that would be the kind of thing that will start these discussions.
So Cindy, that link, or supposed to be link, that URL at the bottom of your survey that you did, that's supposed to take folks to the website for Webster Groves Citizen Satisfaction Survey, which when we did kind of the first couple iterations of the survey was really asking the same questions that we were developing. And when we went to something more like this, I think we kind of felt that if people wanted to kind of rate the police department, because the questions on that survey are how safe and secure do you feel in your neighborhood, rate the overall performance of the Webster Groves Police Department, rate the overall competence of the police department. So, I mean, I guess, you know, Chief Curtis, is that information that you want to keep collecting? And if so, I think we could probably just keep that there, and people could put that in their
My personal
browser and go to it, or if you don't,
Mhm.
if you don't, you know, if you
You
don't want
could, they
to,
could copy and paste it into a website.
My personal opinion is that your survey is much more important to us at this point in time than the citizen feedback survey. I mean, quite honestly, we do get occasionally, you know, we get a few good responses on the survey, but it's not some place that people normally go to. If they have a complaint, normally they file a complaint. They don't go to the satisfaction survey, and they're happy they don't go to the satisfaction survey. So, I really think it's more important that your survey is much more important to you and much more useful to us than pointing them to our survey that's on the city website. And it does, a lot of the information is the same, except I think yours really extrapolates it and gets much deeper into the things we're interested in right now.
So I would suggest, so I would just suggest taking that out or changing it to, you know, if you want to reach out with more information, then put that email address that will be created hopefully for us.
You guys feel comfortable just taking it out for now? We can always put it back in. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then for the responses, I did say collect the email addresses, and I usually don't like to do that, but I think with this kind of thing, you want to make sure people aren't responding like 15 times into it. So it'll collect just a bunch of email addresses. And then it begins to sort the data. When it'll sort it as to who responded when. I give you some information on the best times to send this out. And then you just get a nice, healthy chunk of really nice graphics. And we can also, and Kevin and I did this a little bit, you can also get a spreadsheet of the raw data, just the raw numbers. One thing I wanted to ask the board was, I can duplicate this, this survey, and we can collect data for each group that we go to instead of, or you can just collect it over, you know, for every group in one solid base. So I think that's something that we might want to talk about tonight is, you know, I can just mock up 5 or 6 of these and make a link, and you guys can take them out to the different sources, or we can just collect all the data in one space.
How fast does this collate like this? Could it be done live?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's about 2 to 3 minutes sometimes. Sometimes it's instant, depending on your connection.
Because I think university students, for example, probably like it right there in front of them.
Well, they won't be able to see this part. This is only the collaborators. So what can happen is, if you're in a meeting and people fill this out before you went to the meeting, then you can bring this with you, or you can post it somewhere and kind of show them their data. Like I can take that in itself and copy and paste it into something.
Yeah, I mean, we could put that into the slideshow that we get. I mean,
you can take key pieces of it and put it into there. So I guess the question is, do you want just one survey, or do you want lots of little surveys?
Since we're asking, you know, and I went back and forth on this with Cindy on the phone. At first I said, oh no, we need a separate survey for like the, you know, each group. And it's like, well, maybe we don't, because they're going to identify at the very top of the survey. They're going to identify the group that they're with. And I don't know if we can then extract that. Can we, Cindy? Can we extract that and look at what the response was from like the Alliance, the response from the Rotary Club, the response from the Webster University students?
Yeah, so it will, it will assign a color for each one. So that's what you're seeing. Let me look down here. I just want to make sure that that's it. It might not. No, it's not going to show up in these according to their colors.
Right. So it may be better to have we can have a general survey that's on the website,
Mm-hmm.
and that the community can go out and complete the survey.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can either post the results. We can certainly discuss the results at our meeting. We can post the results on the website.
Yeah.
And that, but each end of the presentations that we go to, my thought was that we would send a survey out to those members and they would respond. And then we would have that data.
Because you can still take all the spreadsheets, merge it all together, and put it all together later if you want.
Yep.
Does that have the capability to do that, to merge all the individual ones?
It'll give you a spreadsheet, and all you have to do is you can copy and paste it into a new spreadsheet.
Okay.
I think I'm not.
Can you get to the spreadsheet?
Oh, where is, okay.
It's at the top, I think.
Here?
That little green, no.
Where's it at? I don't know where it is.
Can you go all the way to the top? You on your right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all the way. Hang on. I'm working on it. Hold on.
Right there, that little green.
Now it'll take a couple. Oh no, it came up right away.
Yeah, there's the spreadsheet, and it's literally just it looks like an Excel spreadsheet, and it has columns and rows. And those are the answers.
Yeah. It'll even populate the long and short answers in here.
And then you could take each one of those and then you could just merge them into one file.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the original thought was as to how we would communicate the information to the community. I'm inclined to have one survey, tabulate the information so that we can then communicate it. I think people are looking to us for, I guess, to know what the community thinks about these questions. This is kind of our way of engaging. And I think for the individual groups, they may discuss it among themselves and they kind of know how they responded, because it's going to be a discussion. They know how they're going to feel. Because what I think about, if we are then going to respond to those individual groups as well, there should be a plan in place to do so in a certain amount of time. Once you go and deliver a presentation, people want feedback. So is someone going to take responsibility for each one of those, making sure that the information is then sent back to the group? And as I said, I'm just inclined to have a survey, and as a group, we get that information back, based on the results.
I was thinking the same thing, Angela. I agree with that.
The problem is the survey is not going to be available for us to present to the groups during our presentation. If we don't send it out to the individual group members, how are we going to respond to them during our presentation?
And I don't know that we should respond to them regarding this survey. I'm not sure who all is going to be, well, I think we've identified who's going to do the presentations, but this is something I think people have to be comfortable facilitating, and some pre-planning. I don't think this is a situation you go in if you're facilitating and asking for these results. You have to be prepared to respond as well. And since we're a group, I don't know if we've done that type of preparation to then have, to do that type of facilitation.
So the agenda is to offer space to take the survey, but without then trying to synthesize the information for the group at that time. We're really just generating discussion somewhat based on the survey itself. And then at a later time, we're going to send the results back to the group of their own survey, and then also possibly how things are coming in as a wider Webster Groves community. Is that what you were thinking?
Well, I thought
that's kind of what I was.
Yeah,
sorry,
I thought the whole purpose of the survey was to survey the group and then discuss the results with that group.
I thought the purpose was, and I know I'm coming in, was to have a forum to be able to get as many people, since they're already there together, to get feedback so that we can then tabulate all of it and present something to the community. Because at the point we present to that group, I don't know.
I guess that what Angela, I was thinking the same thing, because I was thinking, well, that group probably has some sense, or based on the discussion in the group that night, they will have some sense of how that survey might look for them. But what they might be very interested in is, well, how do we fit into the rest of the Webster Groves community, and what are the discussions being generated in other groups?
You know, my husband just handed me a note, and he had a really good idea. Since the Webster Kirkwood Times is back together, we can publish the survey results in the Webster Kirkwood Times if they'd be interested in it.
I'm excited.
Well, you know, we do have a community page. We have the community connection page. Yep. So we don't have to depend on them to publish that. Right. It's something that we could do we can do on our own on our monthly page. So
that's a great idea. I mean, have it there.
We can do it there. I sort of see what Angela is saying. I don't know whether the purpose of us meeting with the group is to go back through all of these questions. I mean, we could ask them you're going to have a PowerPoint that's going to take a while to go through to talk about who we are. You can ask them a few open-ended questions based on the survey, rather than go through all the results, to get from them some of their thinking beyond just answering a question here. Their question, for example, about all the services that they'd like to see from the police department. You could go back as you facilitate the PowerPoint, you could ask them that question. What did you think about that question? And picking out a few of them here that you might use as discussion points rather than have to go through this point by point.
Well, may I'll say, I think, again, I agree with Angela, Katie, and I think all of us that it is a beginning of a discussion. I think the best questions are going to be the ones that aren't on the survey yet. They're going to be coming from the group. They're going to come to us later and say, yeah, you had that survey. That was kind of all right. But I wanted to know this as a group. And that's where we're going to really get engagement going on, where and we're going to learn what do they want to know. This is just a starting point. I think if we keep chewing on it forever, looking for the perfect one, we're not going to have it amongst us 8 people. It's going to be going to the groups and hearing what they have to say. And they're going to come up with the ultimate questions, and they're going to give them to us, and then we're going to talk about them, and then we're going to learn, and they're going to learn together. We'll know what that's my point of view.
So we will send it out to the groups, but we won't give them any results during our presentation.
Right.
And then we will also post it other places so other people can also complete it. Mm-hmm. So then you're getting, as Angela said, you're getting the response from the greater community rather than individual pieces and parts of the community.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have to remember some of the groups are not meeting in person.
Right.
Because of COVID. Yeah. So I think this way is kind of a uniform way of us, just getting, the information out and receiving the information. And with that, because I heard this a couple of times, and both times it just made me think, I know we probably from experience have the email addresses set up where there is no response. And I think if we do that, we should come up with a way to respond to the community. I think they should be able to know how they're going to receive a response from us. If they're constantly sending information and then there's never any report or reply, that would be concerning. So as I said, it keeps coming to my head. So I don't know if the email is not the way. I think we should think of a way and a consistent way of just being able to, turn around information. I'm not sure how that looks, but.
We promise to come back in 4 months.
I'm sorry, Scott, I didn't hear you.
We promise to come back. We'll say, hey, we will be back in 4 months. We're listening. We're going to gather all this and we're going to be back. And that's when we respond, when we gather ourselves together, discuss, and really hear everything that they had to say, tabulate it, think about it, and then we come back with that discussion afterwards in 4 months. I think
we can still post the results on the Webster, the community. But do we need a time limit on the survey? How long do we keep it out there?
And I just want to say, I was talking in general, not just a survey. We could have a time limit on that, but if we're setting up the email, I'm thinking about that's something for the long haul. So that was my point of, trying to figure out if that's not the venue to communicate, then what is it going to be?
I think the survey, 2 to 3 weeks, after a while, people forget about it. Yep. So you don't want to leave it out there too long because they'll say, oh, it's way in the future. I would give them a couple of weeks to have that and maybe a reminder midway through.
They're giving us their email address when they fill it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we could say, at the bottom of it, maybe check a box or something if you would like to receive the results when they're completed, and then the results go out to the people that have emailed in. If we do have that email address, the feedback@pcb.com or whatever, in the thing where it says this is basically, you're not going to get a reply from this email, but you could say, basically our results, thank you for your feedback. Our results will be published by blah, 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 at these places, blah, 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 give them that end game information in a reply email that's just an auto reply or something like that.
I just want to get it out. I've been talking about this survey for 1.5 years. I just want to get it out.
I have to apologize. I think I have living things, people and animals that are needing things from me tonight. I probably just need to sign off, and I apologize for signing off early and coming in late, but there are things happening that are calling my attention. So okay. I'm signing off. Sorry. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Well, we can send it out and, we can just do a follow-up, like another survey or something that says, would you like to receive the results? We'll have their emails right here.
And I definitely think sending it out, we're in November right now. Another thought is to get, tabulate the information and have a report the first of the year, because I don't know how, we're still trying to get groups, scheduled. The holidays are coming up. We know it may be different than normal, but that's just a thought. And that December, but just having, I like the idea of having a reply to letting people know when they might expect it as well.
But if we're going to do this for the community at large, it's already November. If we want to be able to push this out, we probably are better off if we get it out now in some venues and we do the big push in January when people are home and don't have anything to do. And then maybe our report comes back like the 1st of March or something. And it gives people time to do this, because I can tell you over the holidays, even if we're all stuck at home, people's thoughts are not toward this sort of thing. It just dies off. I would make sure, if we're going to push this to the community at large, then, you know, we can push it out through the community connection. We can push it out through a newsletter. We can push it out through a lot of things. But I can tell you from, you know, the redevelopment that we're doing now, we've been at it for 6 months, and every day people say, what are you doing? I've never heard about that. So, you know, it takes a long while for something to seep into the community. Just my thought.
So I'll clean it up, and Kevin, I'll send you a link and you can start sending it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send it initially to each board member, and then each board member can send it out to the connections within the community. Now, I did have a question about it.
Mm-hmm.
I sent the link to my wife to her charter email.
Mm-hmm.
And when she opened it up, it said she had to sign into Google.
Oh.
So she had to sign into her Gmail account in order to access the survey.
Oh.
Oh, that will be a mess.
Oh.
I don't know. That'll be bad.
Can someone else, and now I don't know, Cindy, if it was because this was the link that could be edited.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to test it to make sure
Okay.
that if it goes to someone that doesn't have Gmail, I mean,
Right.
if you have a cell phone, more than likely you have.
Yeah, because you know what, we use these in the district all the time. I think you sent her this where she needed to get link from this. She needed to get that link. And
Okay.
then, Angela, you can shorten the URL like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't require someone to have
Google.
Google.
It can't possibly, because we send it out and we get hundreds of responses back. So
okay. But that was the only, and it could have been just because it was the editable form that.
Oh yeah, your charter came in though. Look.
That's hers.
Oh, that's her. Okay.
Yeah, but she signed in her Gmail account to do the survey.
Okay.
She has. I mean, I have 4 of them, so she has like at least 4.
Okay. I'll send that link to you tonight and you can give it a shot.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, if anyone else has a non Gmail account that you can let me know, I can send it to you to make sure that you can open up that survey.
Me.
Yeah, if you could send it to me, I'll send me the link.
Yeah, I'll send it to your business email. Okay. Another item, we're going long as usual. The other item that on the agenda is the possible additional PCEB web page items. Some of the things that I had mentioned in the minutes that hadn't been posted yet. Where are my notes? The statement that the council passed regarding the racist graffiti and the specific letters regarding, you know, participation in the Black Lives Matter movement. That we were to add our names, or they were to add our names to the bottom of that and then post it to our website, and that did not get done. So I don't know who needs to get that done. It can't be me. So someone in the city needs to get it on the webpage.
So what is it that you're asking for exactly, Kevin?
Well, we agreed to put our names at the end of the city council statement that was issued regarding the letter that was issued, the general letter to the public that was issued from the city council, that we were endorsing it. That endorsement was supposed to be posted to the PCEB landing page.
To your landing page. Okay.
It was never posted to our landing page.
Okay. Okay.
And then the other thing, I noticed that the heading on the ECINS was changed, and it says Webster Groves Police Department Police Community Engagement Board on the heading that I got on the ECINS. Who gets that email?
Kevin, that goes out to our group that we have signed up for it. That's not a typical heading on the ECINS. That was simply a notice to the group about the meeting tonight. That doesn't occur on a regular basis.
Okay, because I got it twice that way.
Got it twice because I'm trying to reinforce because what
awesome.
What I tried to do was to get as much buy-in from the community as possible.
Right.
So I put it in the original eSINs, and then I also resent it on the eSINs.
Okay.
So people would be aware of the meeting. That's not,
yeah, we had discussed putting that on our website as well. I don't know if that's possible.
What, the eSINs?
Yeah.
Is it? I believe it's already on the website through the police department.
Is it?
Isn't it, Dale?
the eSINs is on the city website.
It's on the city website.
That's an unattended mailbox, just like the one that you're talking about. Nobody monitors that box, so anybody that puts anything in there, we're not going to see it. All we do is put information out.
Okay.
At the bottom of it, I think if you, Cynthia, are you and Angela on the eSINs list yet?
I think so. I don't know.
I'll put a note to remind myself to put both of you on there. But in any case, that's strictly a list basically for weekly incidents and also to notify people in the community about things that related to public safety that would be of interest. So there's a list of probably a couple hundred residents and businesses that are on there, and we send that information out weekly, obviously, and then there's something important comes up, we put on there as well. So the board meeting tonight, the heading is on there. We designed that graphic to put it on there just to highlight it that there's a meeting tonight that people were interested in.
Okay. So you said it doesn't need to be on our website?
I don't believe so. I'm not quite sure that it would be productive because, like I said, it's strictly a informative email. We don't take any comments on it. I mean, when we send it out, I do actually check it weekly to make sure somebody didn't respond, and if they did, which happens rarely, I'll put off on some of them. But you notice at the bottom of it, it says, "Please don't respond."
Right. But who knows where it is on the city's website? I guess that's my point. Are we trying to make it easy for people to access this information?
Well, I believe it's on the police department's site on there.
Okay. I'll try to go find it again when I have time. So
we put out notices in the Webster Kirkwood Times. We put it on the
right.
website that it's there.
Right.
That list hasn't grown much in the last, I don't know, 8 or 9 years since we've initiated it.
Right.
I'm checking the website. It's on the police department website under crime log update.
Okay.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep. Thanks. And then I thought this would be a good time. It wasn't on the agenda, but we need to talk about the public notice for the CALEA assessment that just came out. So is that something that, I mean, I'm assuming you guys will post that according to whatever regulation you have on posting this particular public notice for public comment.
Right, we will, but again, I want to make sure that the board was aware of this area. It'll be posted, it'll be broadcast on the eSINs, be posted on our Facebook page, and we'll also there'll be a free notice, abbreviated one in the Webster Kirkwood Times, but there'll also be a full notice that we actually pay for that'll be in the Webster Kirkwood Times. The assessment, site assessment will be week after next, week of November the 9th, I believe that it is.
Right.
And if you have a couple minutes after the meeting's over, that we can talk about it. I'd like, they do want to interview you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. And then any update, Jerry, on the community conversations?
Nope. Our next meeting is trying to find 18 people who are on this committee, and a time to meet has been more than difficult. We are scheduled for November the 5th. Yay.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard to get 10 people together at once. So, and then I received no remarks from visitors today. And then the confirmation of our next scheduled meeting, we'll probably have a meeting, and we will have a meeting in November, and then we won't have another one until January. I know the city council moved their meeting, of course, off election day, and they're meeting on the
4th and the 17th.
The 4th and the 17th. The only time that's really available is Thanksgiving week. Unless, I mean, I cannot meet the 9th, the weekend of the 9th, or the weekend of the 16th. Now,
what's the first week of December like? Maybe that's a better time to go. We can combine November and December during that first week of December.
Is the city council meeting on the 8th?
City council meets on the 1st and the 15th.
Okay, we could meet on December 8th.
Sounds good.
All right, December 8th. So I don't want to meet on Wednesdays because Reverend Hayes, I think, has Bible study every Wednesday. So 12/8 of 2020 at 6:30 p.m. again via Zoom. Let's all pray that COVID starts slowing up. Yeah, I think everyone's ready for the election to be over, right?
Yes.
All right. Any other items? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Meeting is adjourned. And then Dale, I guess you and I, do you want to just stick on the call?
Yeah, if you would just hang on for about 5 minutes, you and I can discuss it.
Okay, perfect.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
All right. All right.
Basically, it's just a focus group on some of the things that we think we do well and some of the things that we need improvement on. One of the things we felt like we were making progress on was community engagement. So obviously that relates to the community engagement board. So the assessor just want to have a little, probably a short conversation, not more than 10 or 15 minutes. If you could do it, if you have some time available on Monday morning, either be a Zoom or a phone conference, probably a Zoom.
Monday the 9th.
If you can't do it Monday, maybe on Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday the 9th is fine. I'm fine on the 9th.
Okay. About what time would be good for you?
That's November 9th, right?
Right.
Okay. Say 9 a.m.
9 a.m. would be good. And I will, I'll be in contact with you. Either, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Zoom, but it may be a phone conference depending upon how things go, because it's kind of a fluid situation. They're doing, normally it's an actual on-site, but obviously this year they got to do it virtually.
Right.
I'm not sure.
How are you guys hanging in there?
We're doing okay. We're doing all right. it's all the challenges, you know.
Oh, I know, and I've got a trip to Wichita, which I'm. I have to go.
You gonna fly? Or you gonna get to?
No, I'm driving, and there's no way I'm flying. So luckily it's a 6.5 hour drive, but we've got a client that is converting software, and they need help desperately getting their November invoices out. So,
so you don't have any option.
So no, I'll be there the whole week helping them invoice out of a brand new computer system. So.
Sounds like fun.
So anyway, thanks so much for all your input tonight. And yeah, I'm glad we were finally getting this survey out. And
hopefully it'll be a good thing, which I think it will be. So like I said,
I really do. I think it's a really good survey. I think it really, it asks a lot of good questions and provides some good information too. So
it'll get us the feedback we're looking for, and hopefully I'm expecting that there'll be excuse me, areas for obvious improvement, and there'll be some things that we need to take a look at, but hopefully overall I think it'll come out okay. But we'll see.
Yep. All right.
All right, thanks, Kevin. I will be in touch about the CALEA thing.
Okay, perfect. And I guess we just set up the Zoom. If it's Zoom, just send it through the KSPCEB email. So
okay, I'll do that, but I'll give you a text to make sure you get it.
Great. Thanks.
Right. Thanks, Kevin. Good night.
Good night.